A medical examiner is under examination. Dr. Michael McGees served as Ramsey County Medical Examiner for more than 3 decades. His work contributing to thousands of police investigations and helping put people behind bars. But now more than 70 of his autopsies that led to murder convictions are being reviewed by the Ramsey County Attorney. And joining me right now is Ramsey County Attorney John Choi. Thank you very much for coming in. All right, this couldn't be more serious. You're actually reviewing 71 murder convictions. Tell us why, the background of this.
Well, I think it's really important because what happened back in September of 2021, a federal judge in North Dakota wrote an opinion about the work of Dr. McGee in the Shadin case in Minnesota. We all remember that case, yes. And Alfonso Rodriguez was convicted. He was sentenced to death, and they were litigating the death penalty portion of that case. And the judge made a lot of conclusions about Dr. McGee's work. It was very troubling.
The judge's conclusions are scathing.
Yes,
absolutely. Unreliable,
right.
Not accurate, right. Not true. I mean, it was...
about 40-some pages of criticizing Dr. McGee. And after reading that, I believe that what we should be doing is ensuring that all of those past convictions upon which Dr. McGee played a critical role, that we need to look at all of that. And it's everything. So we started with every one of his cases going back to the 80s, right? And we've got it now down to about 71 cases. In a lot of situations, the cause of death is really obvious. Somebody got shot, they bled to death. That's not the issue. But there's a lot of cases where how the person died is a critical part of the case. And of course, we have to prove that case beyond a reasonable doubt. And if we relied on his testimony, we want to go back to make sure that the science and the conclusions that he made were accurate.
Okay. One of the things I found in researching this is that there have been questions about his work for years, right. Including you had questions in 2011 right. about one of his cases. There were some rape cases. Why wasn't a more thorough, expansive review done at that time, or done sometime earlier, even before you were a county attorney?
So back in 2011, right when I started as county attorney, there was a judge in Douglas County, Minnesota, who came to the conclusion on an infant death case that his conclusions in that case were false or misleading. So because of that, we did a very narrow review around infant death cases, and we found a number of things, too. We found that Dr. McGee hadn't been connected to some of the latest research around that topic and wasn't participating as a part of the Association of Medical Examiners. So we asked him to do that, but we felt like in the particular case there was no reason that his conclusions were false. Okay.
I do want to say we did reach out to Dr. McGee. We were unable to reach him. He resigned as Ramsey County Medical Examiner in 2019. What's important, though, is he didn't just do Ramsey County. Right. He did almost every county in the eastern portion of the state, as well as Wisconsin. Have you gotten any calls from other prosecutors?
Yeah, so I've been in touch with all of the other prosecutors to let them know that what we're doing, and I don't know what they're going to be doing in response to this order, but I suspect that they could be, taking a look at their cases. They're not, for a lot of the smaller counties in greater Minnesota, they may only have, over the course of a decade, 1 or 2 or 3 homicide cases.
Okay. How long before you begin telling people the results? Will you get to case 1 in another few months? I mean, it's got to take an enormous amount of time.
Well, keep in mind, we started this back in the fall of 2021, and we just got the cases narrowed down to 71. So there's still a lot more work to do. And we have to look through all of the medical examiners' files. We have to look through our own files. And then we have to look at trial transcripts and read all of that. So it's going to take a while, but we'll be transparent with all of the results and the conclusions.
And I've got to say, the reaction of most people is this is really alarming. Right. This is scary stuff.
Right. It is, and I think the key is that we're going to do this work without fear or favor. I am not wedded to protecting a conviction at all costs. I think hindsight is an important tool in justice. Hindsight is 20/20, and right now we need 20/20 vision.
Okay. Thank you so much, John Choi. We really appreciate your time this morning.